What happens when a simple moment turns into an unthinkable nightmare? When a man, unaware of watching eyes, makes a choice that changes everything? Some secrets remain hidden until the camera reveals the truth. The evening air was thick with the hum of city life as Ethan stepped onto the subway platform. His hoodie was pulled over his head, hands tucked into his pockets, blending into the crowd of tired commuters. The train screeched to a stop, doors sliding open with a metallic hiss. He stepped inside, taking a spot near the back, away from the glaring lights and empty conversations. That's when he noticed her, a girl, no older than 16, sitting alone in the middle of the train. She was curled up, knees pulled to her chest, arms wrapped tightly around herself like a shield. Her face was pale, her eyes darting around, scanning the passengers like she was waiting for something. Or someone. Ethan's instincts kicked in. Something wasn't right. Then, he saw him, a man, standing near the doors, shifting uncomfortably. His eyes were locked onto the girl, not in a way someone casually notices another passenger, but in a way that sent a chill crawling up Ethan's spine. The man wasn't just looking at her, he was waiting. The train lurched forward, and Ethan's gaze remained locked on the situation unfolding before him. The girl tightened her grip around herself, shrinking further into the seat. The man took a slow step forward, then another. Ethan clenched his jaw. The other passengers were either too distracted by their phones or too exhausted to care. No one else noticed what was happening, but Ethan did, and so did someone else. A small red light blinked in the corner, a phone camera. Someone was filming, and what happened next? No one was ready for it. Ethan's pulse quickened as the train rattled through the tunnel. The man took another step toward the girl, his fingers twitching like he was rehearsing his next move. She shrank deeper into the seat, pressing herself against the window. Then, he reached out. Ethan didn't think. His body moved before his mind caught up. He lunged forward, gripping the man's wrist just as his fingers brushed the girl's shoulder. "What do you think you're doing?" Ethan's voice was sharp, cutting through the train's low hum. The man jerked back, eyes widening for a fraction of a second before shifting into something else, anger. "Mind your business," he snapped, trying to yank his arm free. But Ethan didn't let go. The girl looked up, her breath shaky. She wasn't just scared, she was terrified. Then from the corner of his eye, Ethan saw it. The phone camera still recording. Someone else had seen it too. The train screeched to a stop. The doors slid open. And suddenly, the man made his move. He twisted violently, breaking free from Ethan's grip, and bolted toward the exit. But he never made it out, because standing outside the door, waiting, was the police. The moment the train doors slid open, 2 uniformed officers stepped in, blocking the man's escape. His body stiffened, eyes darting between them and the open doorway behind them. He was trapped. "Sir, step aside," one officer ordered, his voice firm. "We need to have a word." The man hesitated for a split second, then bolted in the opposite direction. Bad move. Before he could make it 2 steps, Ethan grabbed the back of his jacket, yanking him backward. The officers lunged in, pinning him against the train wall. "Let me go!" he snarled, thrashing against their grip. "I didn't do anything!" Ethan stepped back, heart pounding. The girl was still frozen in her seat, her breath coming in short, shallow gasps. Then, a quiet voice spoke up from the crowd. "Check the video." The phone, the one that had been recording. A passenger, a woman in her late 20s, stepped forward and handed it to one of the officers. "I got everything." The officer took the phone, pressed play, and watched. And in the next moment, the entire energy in the train shifted. Because what they saw on that screen was worse than anyone had imagined. The officer's face hardened as he watched the video. His grip on the man tightened. "Turn around. Hands behind your back." "Wait, no, I didn't do anything," the man protested, his voice rising. "This is a mistake." But the video said otherwise. The footage captured everything. The way he had been watching the girl, the way he moved closer every time she looked away, the way his hand reached out just before Ethan stopped him. It wasn't an accident. It wasn't a misunderstanding. It was intentional. The officer didn't hesitate. Click. The handcuffs snapped around his wrists. "You're under arrest," the passengers whispered among themselves, eyes shifting between the girl and the man who was now being dragged off the train. Some shook their heads, others looked disturbed. But the girl, she just sat there, unmoving. Ethan turned to her. "Are you okay?" Her eyes flickered up to meet his, and for the first time, he saw something beyond fear, relief. She swallowed hard. I didn't know what to do." Ethan nodded. "You don't have to. It's over now." As the officers led the man away, the tension in the train finally lifted. The doors slid shut, and the train lurched forward again. The moment had passed. The danger was gone. But Ethan knew one thing for sure. If that camera hadn't been rolling, if no one had been paying attention, this could have ended very differently. Somewhere in the distance, the red recording light finally blinked off. But the truth? That was now out in the open for everyone to see.